Hey guys, what's going on? Steve, I'm back again, and I'm back with another Walking Dead video from the Thrifty Typewriter. So I'm continuing on with like his deep dive analysis videos into certain key episodes of the series. I've done the first two already, how Days Gone By was the perfect pilot, which I do agree it was a fantastic pilot. You know, it basically set up the world, revealed some information, but not everything, and basically showed us like what to expect from this series going forward. You know, especially I'm sure everybody had the same feelings, you know, the first time we see Rick. Little girl, little girl, it's okay. I'm a police officer. I'm here to help. And she turns around and, you know, after, you know, mouth is like, ugh, you know, ripped open and stuff like that. And then, of course, you know, she starts charging at Rick, and Rick pulls out his gun and ends it. You know, it's like, oh, okay. This is what to expect from the show. So they did a really good job building up the atmosphere and showing us, hey, this is what to expect going forward with the show. Then, of course, the other one I did was, what was it? Did TS19 reveal too much or something like that? Which, looking back, yeah, it kind of feels like they did. You know, I mean, it would have been interesting to learn more stuff later on throughout the show. But then again, looking at the show, it's like, when would they have really gotten more information, stuff like that? Because, you know, in TS19, you know, Dr. Jenner said, you know, like, there's no cure. We don't know what this is. We don't know if it's, you know, fungal, microbial, virus. You know, we don't know. You know, there's no one out there doing anything. You know, everybody, same thing, just ran out of fuel, couldn't continue on. You know, the French were the last ones to hold out. And then, of course, you know, he showed his wife, and, you know, regenerating times, you know, can vary and stuff like that for when people can come back. And then, of course, you can see, you know, little sparks of the brain, but not full everything and stuff like that. So that's like their basic motor functions is all they have. And then, of course, the big information, you know, was when he whispered to Rick, which pretty good that they saved that until, you know, the end of season 2, when Rick revealed, hey, everybody's infected. We're all infected. No matter how we die, we come back. You know, so it's like, yeah, looking back, they did reveal quite a bit, but, you know, it's like, when else would we have gotten this information watching the show now? So it is what it is, but yeah, still really good episodes. So this one here is called How Pretty Much Dead Already Delivered the First True Shock of The Walking Dead. I believe this is when we finally found Sophia. You can't tell me you were not shocked when they were clearing out that barn, and then the very last one to come out was Sophia. And just being like, oh my God, she's dead, she's a walker, and she's been in the barn the entire time. She was no more than, 20 feet away from our group the whole time. You know, they're out there looking all over the place, and she was 20 feet away from them. And then just seeing, you know, everybody reacting to her, you know, big tough guy Shane, you know, oh yeah, let's do this, let's take them all out. Oh, So Rick stepping up and taking her out. Can't tell me you were not shocked by any of that stuff. So, looking forward to the video. Let's jump right in and check it out. Here we go.
During the course of the second season of The Walking Dead, the show was still finding its footing.
Yep.
Yes, it was based on a comic series, but it was already starting to deviate greatly from its comic book counterpart. How accurate or inaccurate were the storylines going to really be? What could they improve upon from the comic storylines to make them better in the show?
That's what happens when you change showrunners.
Were sparking among fans of the comics, and the first great change of events that would impact the future came in Season 2, Episode 7, Pretty Much Dead Already. This episode shocked both first-time viewers and readers of the comic series, and in today's video, I'm going to be recapping the episode, giving my analysis on it, and explaining why this episode gave fans of The Walking Dead the first true shock of the show. But before I get into the video, I want to wish everybody a happy new year and hope you all had a happy holiday. This year has been absolutely huge for my channel.
Yeah, because before that, there really hasn't been
tell you about a great deal that my friends over at Surfshark
any
VPN
big
are
shock.
doing.
I mean, yeah, there was some walkers that attacked
I'd highly recommend taking
the camp in Season 1, but it's like
deal. Surfshark VPN allows
it's
you
to be expected, you know, walkers attack.
So that way you aren't being spied
they're gonna get
on by
attacked.
any unwanted visitors.
They're gonna get unfortunately killed.
VPN to change your
so I mean, that's not,
so
that wasn't really shocking. It's like,
on streaming services.
well,
I've been watching
it's to be expected, you know. So
Netflix, Hulu,
yeah,
etc., all because of Surfshark VPN. I also have YouTube TV, but you can only use that when you're in your home region, so when I'm traveling or just away from home, I can set the VPN near my home and still watch it. Check the link in the description and use promo code THRIFTY for 85% off and an extra 3 months completely free for this exclusive holiday deal. Thanks to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring this video. Now let's get on with the episode. We start the episode off with a bunch of grainy, dead characters eating breakfast when Glenn looks conflicted, looking from Maggie to Dale. Maggie shakes her head at him while Dale nods at him, so Glenn decides to drop a bombshell and tell
keeping all his
everyone
secrets.
that there's walkers in the barn. Shane and Rick begin fighting about what to do next. Shane suggests that they leave, but Carol says they can't because they haven't found Sophia yet. Daryl comes to bat for Carol, saying that he's close to finding Sophia, but Shane says that even if he'd found her, she'd probably run the other way just by looking at him, which is probably fair to say. Rick stops this fight from going any further, and Dale reminds everybody that Herschel views these things as people. Shane inspects the barn, reaching for his gun, but he's reminded that it's not there. Glenn tries to talk to Maggie, so she does, by smashing an egg onto his head. Carl talks with Lori about how he can't wait to find Sophia, and how she's really gonna like the farm once they find her. Daryl, who's injured, wants to go out and find Sophia, but Carol tells him to rest because she doesn't even know if Sophia is still out there.
Yep, she was giving up.
Daryl gets pissed about this and storms out of the barn, calling Carol a stupid bitch after she says that she doesn't want to lose Daryl, too. Dale talks with Andrea about her recent decisions, specifically her decisions about Shane. She says that she and Rick are going to go out and look for Sophia as she packs up the guns. Andrea insists that she's fine, but Dale knows she's not thinking clearly. Dale asks Glenn to go and get him some water as he zips up the bag of guns.
Yep, and he takes him and hides him.
Talk to Herschel about the walkers in the barn.
Would have been interesting to
Herschel
see,
says that he wants Rick's group to leave
Dale
by
continue
the end
on
of
in the
week.
show a little
Rick
longer.
says that the farm is special and they have shelter there, and they need it because Lori is pregnant. Herschel still insists they leave, even after Rick offers to help around the farm, and Rick nicely asks him to reconsider. Rick then goes outside to defuse the situation with Shane, but in effect it only gets worse until Rick tells Shane that Lori is pregnant. Shane congratulates Rick on his new baby, and Rick thanks him, kinda. Inside, Herschel talks with Maggie, who actually seems to be on Rick's side in this whole situation. She reasons with Herschel, saying that everything he's saying to the group is going against the things he told her when he raised her. Glenn's name is brought up, Herschel referring to him as the Asian boy.
Is this about you and the Asian boy? Do you want
him to? And Maggie says that it's not about him, it's not about them, it's about what's right. Herschel goes and asks for Rick's help with something while Shane goes to talk with Lori. Shane says that Rick told him about how she's pregnant and that he knows it's his. Lori says that even if it is his, he's not going to be the father of it and there's nothing he can do to change that. Carl then talks with Shane about how they should stay.
That's gotta be so awkward.
Shane says that if that's what he wants, then that's what's going to happen, but they have to make some changes in order to do that.
It was interesting seeing Shane around Carl and stuff like that.
He can't find them. Herschel takes Rick
You
to
know,
the
how
river,
decently
says
he was
that
treated
if his
him.
people are going to stay here, then they have to abide by Herschel's rules, and his rules are to treat the walkers as people.
My
who can
house,
be
my
restored.
farm, my
Daryl
rules.
and Carol take a walk, and Carol asks him why he's looking for Sophia so much. He says that he believes she's still out there, and then he talks to the audience and writers of this season by also saying,
What else I got to do?
Glenn catches up with Maggie and explains why he told the rest of the group about
I
the
mean,
walker. It's because he remembered how
it's not
dangerous they truly
wrong.
were, and also because he didn't want her to be in danger. He'd rather her be pissed off at him and alive than liking him and dead. Maggie sees his reasoning and kisses him. Shane finds Dale and demands he hands over the guns. Dale says that the guns aren't going to keep them safe, and Shane doesn't want to listen. Dale threatens to shoot Shane, but doesn't, saying that this world and the way it is where Shane truly belongs. Shane arrives back at the house, handing out guns and saying that
Yep.
things need to change around
Let's
here.
do this.
Applying
Let's
the
clear
right
out the
logic
barn.
to everybody around when Rick and Herschel arrive back with the walkers. Shane runs over, giving his speech, once again applying the right logic to what everybody
What's
needs to
that?
hear,
What's
saying
that?
living, breathing people can't survive from shots to the heart and lungs. Rick
Oh
yells,
yeah, this was
pleading
also
with
another
Shane to stop
shocking
what he's doing,
thing,
but he
especially
doesn't.
from
He ignores the
Herschel,
law,
you know,
forcing
thinking,
the others
oh,
to
they're people,
conform to
and then
Shane's
Shane
tactics
doing
and kill the walkers in
what
the
needed to
barn.
be, you know,
Rick
hey,
stands
there's a
there
shot to the
stunned
lungs
as
and the
walkers
heart,
seem
you
to
know,
stop coming
why is
down
it still
the barn.
coming, you know?
Herschel sits on his knees in disbelief as one final walker
And finally also
comes out of the
learning
barn. The camera lifts
they're
up,
dead.
revealing it to be Sophia. Carol runs over and Daryl stops her. The group stands there, no one, not even Shane, willing to be the one to finish what
Yep.
he started.
And this is when Rick steps
forward,
up.
aiming the gun at
Fine,
a
I'll do it.
45-degree angle as per usual, and pulls the trigger. So the first thing about this episode that stands out to me is how good this show is. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, I'm a big fan of this show, even of the later seasons, but going back to the early days of the show really shows you just how different it used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Every second of this episode, I was at the edge of my seat, every conversation was exciting and important, and just the overall tone of the series was just so much different back then. And the funniest part of all this was that season 2 was at one point thought to be the
2/12,
worst season of the
2012.
show. Back in like 2016 when season 6 was on, season 2 stood out as the sore thumb as the worst season of the show. And if this episode was in the worst season of the show, then it really shows you just how great these earlier seasons of the show were. I don't
Yeah.
like to be the guy
I mean, I
who
liked
says
it.
that the show peaked
I thought
early
season
on
2
and
was
the later
good.
seasons sucked.
You know?
A lot of people do that plenty enough for all of us, but watching these early episodes really reminds me of that. So
Back
I just
when there
wanted
was
to point
really
it out
no-
just this
no
once.
filler episodes,
But
no
in the
bottle
episode,
episodes.
One of the greatest key themes
Yeah,
is Rick's
we were on a
struggle keeping the
farm
group together.
the whole
He wants
season,
the
but
group to
still.
stay at the farm because it's safer than the rest of the
No
world.
filler,
and because Lori is
no,
pregnant, but he knows
you
that
know,
Shane
two
isn't gonna see eye to
character
eye with
episodes
Herschel,
and stuff
causing
like that.
a rift between Herschel's family and the group. Rick tries his best to see things the way Herschel does because he knows it's the best decision for the group, but Rick ultimately can't juggle these two decisions, and Shane takes matters into his own hands.
And this is
Shane
when he
also
revealed
shows
to
how great
Herschel,
of a
like, yeah,
manipulator
these people are
he is
gone.
in this episode.
They're
Dale
not in
calls him
there.
out
They're not
twice in this episode, both
sick,
to Andrea
you know?
and to Shane himself. He tells Andrea that Shane isn't who she thinks he is, and she needs to be careful. He then confronts Shane to his face, saying that he's perfect for the world the way that it
Now,
is
see, it would have been
now.
interesting. What if Dale
says that
survived
while
and
he may not be fit to live forever
what
in these times,
he would have
he's
said,
perfectly content
thought,
with that. In Shane's
with
speeches,
Rick
he brings
putting
up
down
having to save
Shane.
Sophia in order to gain
You know,
Carl's
that
trust.
would have been
He also
interesting.
brings up how walkers killed Amy in order to get Andrea's trust. But when it comes time for action, Shane forgets about these things, instead showing that he's really fueling his own thoughts and emotions. He yells at Carol, saying that Sophia is dead and that they're wasting time looking for her, even though he just said to Carl that they need to protect the farm for when Sophia gets back. This whole scene shows us all we need to know about Shane, especially at the end, when he can't even pull the trigger on Sophia, forcing Rick to be the true leader and step up. Now, with
Yep.
all this being said, I
Rick
find
did what
myself
needed to be
agreeing
done.
with Shane during a majority of this episode. It is crazy that Herschel looks at the walkers as people who can be saved. It's not safe to keep a barn full of walkers right next to where they're all sleeping. Obviously,
True.
the way he goes about it could have been a bit better, but
But
it seems like this
it was
that I look
secured,
back to
you know,
and
I
just
mean,
see
they've been
how
there
people could have agreed with
for
Shane
how
and his
long?
logic at
You know,
this
how
point
long
in
were they
the
at the
show.
barn?
Another
I mean,
aspect of
the
this episode
farm.
that I really loved was Maggie. Maggie in the current and later seasons, if I'm being honest, kind of bores me. She seems very one-dimensional and doesn't get a whole lot of character development, but it's watching these earlier episodes that reminds me, oh right, Maggie is a good character. Herschel seems very set in his ways, asking Rick and the group to leave, and Maggie's the one who says to Herschel that not everything he's saying is making sense, and she makes Herschel realize that he can compromise with Rick. She also sticks up for herself when Shane approaches with the guns, and she even works for her own compromise with Glenn. Moments like this really grew Maggie's character and plants the seeds as to how she would eventually grow and become a great leader in her own right. But the true reason why this episode came as the first true shock of The Walking Dead was because of Sophia's death.
Yep.
Sophia is a comic book character that survives up until the very end of the series, but in the show, having her walk out of the barn was hugely consequential for a number of reasons. Number one, this was
Swerve.
a giant change from the comic book.
Yeah.
They would run into a number of problems down
One
the
of
road trying
many
to fix this
major
change.
changes.
And number two, this served as the first giant character development for Carol.
Yeah,
a
that
character
too.
who did die early on in the comics, but survives until the very end of the show. This was really one of the first major deviations the show made from its comic book counterpart.
Mm-hmm.
This trend would obviously continue down the line, sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse, but this episode surprised and shocked
I like how he didn't
both
show
fans of
Carl.
the comic book and the growing fan base
When they
of
said for the
TV
worst.
show. And that's pretty much dead already. What are your thoughts on the episode? Let me know down in the comments below, and let me know which episode you want me to cover next. If you're not already, consider hitting that subscribe button and leaving a like on the video if you enjoyed it. If you do, then I'll see you in the next one.
Okay, so there we go. How Pretty Much Dead already delivered the first true shock of The Walking Dead. Yeah, it was a really good video. That was, that was awesome. I always liked season 2. I thought it was pretty good. I really had no major complaints. I mean, yeah, it was a little boring just being on the farm and not seeing anything. It was like cool farm, woods, farm. And I was like, I kind of want to see like more and stuff like that. But I mean, either way, it was still a really good, season and stuff like that. A lot of drama, which is basically what the show is. Yeah. So I mean, I was like season 2. Thought season 2 was good. Like I said early on. No real filler episodes or anything like that. No bottle episodes, which we unfortunately got later on in the seasons and stuff like that, which kind of made the show a little I mean, like, as good as it was, the only one that's coming to mind right now is like the Morgan Eastman episode. It was like, It's like, do I really need to watch this? It's like, I don't know. This could have been, like some flashbacks or something like that. It's like kind of like a waste of an episode. Sometimes when I'm rewatching, it's like, I'll just skip that. I mean, yeah, we could have, seen a couple of flashbacks and, oh, so Morgan, where'd you get this stick and stuff like that? Why do you always use a stick? Oh, well, it was a guy named Eastman, and, it was a cheesemaker, and blah, 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 and you get a little dialogue here and there. It's like, episode just kind of like, meh, it was just like, oh, okay. I can kind of skip that. And just some of these other, bottle episodes, filler episodes, just kind of, no. So that's why I think season 2 is still really good. But yeah, that true shock, Sophia coming out, major change to the comic, one of many. Like you said, some good, some bad. I like how he didn't show Carl when it said bad, because I mean that is probably one of the worst decisions they did. Yeah, let's kill Carl off. Cool, the future of the show. So we'll kill off Rick's son and replace it with another son. Okay. Okay. Couldn't Rick have, 3 kids? Carl, Judith, and RJ? No, let's kill off Carl and give him RJ. Okay. I guess. Kind of weird, but whatever. But yeah, overall, really good episode. I can just imagine so long ago just watching this live, You know, oh, the barn is full of walkers and stuff like that. And then, yeah, I'm sure I was in just total shock of seeing, there's Sophia. She's dead. She's been in the barn the whole time, so they were just basically out there looking around for nothing. And she was like 20 feet away from him the whole time. And then, of course, the other shock, basically for Herschel, you know, when Shane was, when they were bringing the walkers back, and, you know, Shane was doing, you know, that's its lungs, why is it still coming? There's its heart, why is it still coming? You know, and that's when Herschel was like, finally getting like, okay, these people are not sick, I was wrong this whole time. And then he has this breakdown, and then we go into like the sort of second half of season 2. You know, that's when everything kind of changes. They go into the little town and stuff like that. Herschel's drinking again, and then we find the other group and stuff like that, and that's when things really start to pick up. But yeah, lots of shocks in that episode. So yeah, there we go. There's the video. How Pretty Much Dead already delivered the first true shock of The Walking Dead. Let me know what you guys think of that episode, if you can remember that far back watching that episode live. You know, what were your thoughts when you saw Sophia coming out of that barn? Were you shocked, or were you just kind of like, maybe she isn't there, maybe she is dead, you know? So let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button, that'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And of course, if there's any Walking Dead videos you guys want me to check out, let me know down below in the comment section. I'll be happy to make a video on them. But other than that, I'll probably try to remember to continue on with this little series he's got. You know, I know he's got a couple of videos, deep diving analysis into, you know, certain key episodes of the show. So yeah, maybe I'll continue these on. But other than that, just stick around. More videos are on the way, and I will see you guys next time.